How you doing, guys? It's One Man Clan, and welcome to this week's pre-match chat, the last of the pre-match chats for 2013. It's hard to believe, and the big thing at the moment on my mind is, of course, the current pending issue, the big decision of whether to change the sessions from Sunday's 2200 GMT, where they've been for the last 5 years, to Saturday's 2200. And so far, looking at the poll, which I'm doing right now, and of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's takersgored.com, forum, Weekly AGR Sessions, the post titled, "Should the Weekly AGR Sessions move to Saturday 2200 GMT?" And the options are yes, no, I don't know, and I don't care. Now, a little bit regret the wording of the last one, because it's a little bit vague. Because I thought later, I don't care could mean I don't care because I don't play anyway. And there's quite a few people on the mailing list who are just programmers or people interested in the mod itself as a mod, or other aspects of it, or they find me entertaining or whatever, but they're not actually players. They're not interested in playing. So when they say I don't care, they're saying it doesn't worry me, which is very different from hey, either date is fine with me. So there's fault number one with this poll. Fault number two is because it's just a poll, you don't know who's voting. I don't know how many of the yeses are the regular players. So if someone who plays, or just intends to play a couple of times a year, obviously their vote is not as important as someone who's there every week. So that would have been, there's a fault there as well. Having said that, the result is pretty strong. So as I'm looking at it now, we've got 6 people said yes. 1 person said no. This is should the sessions change? Should the sessions move to Saturday? 6 yes, 1 no, 1 I don't know, and 4 I don't care. Which, I mean, obviously if you're not a player, you'd realise that you shouldn't vote I don't care if you're not going to be playing, because the session times are irrelevant to you. So I'm assuming, look, I'm going to take the I don't care meaning as it doesn't worry me. Either one is fine. So that means 6 people will be happier, 4 will be the same, 1 will be unhappy. And so the way I'm thinking of it, that must mean that if the sessions stay on Sundays, because the question is, should the Weekly AGR Sessions move to Saturdays 2200 GMT? If you say yes, that means your opinion is that they should move, which means your opinion is not that they shouldn't. Therefore, I'm just projecting here, if the session stayed on Sundays, in other words, if the question had been, should the Weekly AGR Sessions stay on Sundays, 6 people would have said no. And 1 would have said yes. You see what I mean? But maybe that's not right. Polls are funny because sometimes they word things. But look, yes, maybe it's not perfect and the psychological things, the phrasing of the question. But the result is pretty clear, man. 6 yeses versus 1 no. Even using I think it's called a T-statistic they use, where if you've got a small sample size, you put in the result, and it tells you whether it's meaningful. Statistically significant, I think was the word they used, and I think it is. Look, I'm going to wait. I'm going to put another email out asking everyone who hasn't voted to vote, just to get a few numbers up. But at this point, unless, the other thing, of course, is that, yes, I'll get onto that in a sec. But at this point, if this doesn't change, it looks like 2014, there is literally no reason to stay on Sundays, except for the 1 person that said no. But versus 6, they said yes. And 1 specifically so far, Dickie Nee, has specifically said, and he's an Australian, so he specifically cannot play on Mondays, which is when 2200 GMT Sundays is in Australia. It's Monday. So at this point, emotionally, I'm not ready to move to Sundays. because, I mean, it's in my blood, man. I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and 2200 GMT for me is Monday mornings for the last 5 years, whatever it is. For the last 5 years, Monday morning is AGR time. It's AGR time, baby. Whether it's 8 a.m. for half the year and the other half of the year it's 9 a.m. So the idea of switching, and I'm sure for you guys, the regular dudes, man, it's like it's set in our blood, man, in our physiology. It's the brain. You know how you wake up sometimes anyway, even though the alarm clock doesn't go off, just because your body's trained to get up. This is the thing. It's going to be really strange. But look at these results. I can't argue with them. It's just too strong. Now, the other concern I have is this, because obviously you need to analyze data. One thing, of course, very important is to get as many players as possible. So is it possible that a lot of these guys voting, like myself, were the older dudes? And the reason for the original Sunday night date, so this is going to be very analytical here. So the reason for the original Sunday night date was because I figured most players are Americans, and so they are, a higher priority, which is why we make our sacrifices, the rest of us. But anyway, the people go out on Saturday nights, so it can't be Saturday because it really inconvenienced them. Now I know that where's the dates? I'll put a little chart here. So where are we? So Los Angeles is 2 to 6 p.m. the session goes for, all the way through New York, which is 5 to 9 p.m. So technically speaking, the Americans can still go out, but the Europeans can't go out on a Saturday night. The Brits can't because the wish session starts at 10 p.m. Yeah. Now, the Greeks could come, starts at midnight for Athens and Odessa or Kiev. Moscow 2 a.m. So technically speaking, the Moscow stud could go out at night and have a good time, come back and play AGR 2 in the morning. And you could say, yeah, but we don't get many of those players, but it could be the time slot. And this is the thing, what I'm getting at. If we want to get the young kids, maybe the kids do go out and maybe they'll be disadvantaged by Saturday night. It's a funny one. But then the teenagers stay home. But then the geeks don't go out anyway. It's very complicated. You know what I mean? The people that play currently are not the target. If the future of AGR is going to get new players, and they're going to be younger players, presumably, the younger players will be going on a Saturday night. But now, as I'm looking here, even if they did, Chicago, 4 to 8 p.m. on a Saturday, you could play before you go out. Yeah, man. Besides, isn't the fashion now is that people go out later and later? I mean, it was at one time I was start getting ready at 10 p.m. and leave the house at 11. So anyway, so that's a factor as well. Maybe these results are skewed to the current players, whereas the future player base of AGR, which I anticipate being huge and mega international smash hit, maybe they will not be happy with this, but then you can change it later. Look, at the end of the day, one thing to remember is that anybody can log on anytime they want and play, okay? So it's, at this point, all this is just a structured approach to a session. That's why there's the intermissions which means everybody needs to know what's going on. I'm nervous because I've been promoting this date for a long time. And part of me doesn't want to, because I don't want to mess with the formula. That's one of the reasons why there's the terms of conditions of the AGR, the weekly AGR sessions. I want to set formula. You don't mess with it. You want consistency. You know exactly what you're getting. That's why the map schedule, the intermissions, the whole thing is a set, so people know what they're getting every time, and it's a specific, call it a product, even though I'm not charging anything. It's a product for the marketplace. And all right, you could say, well, okay, AGR, we're not getting 32 people a week, okay? But the other hand, we're surviving, okay? It's the last surviving. I think Mega TF's still having games playing. But AGR's still going strong. And part of me doesn't want to mess with the formula. But you can't argue with these stats, man. Look at it. 50%. Look, I'm going to wait and get a few more votes to see what happens. But unless something... That's my pen clicking, sorry. But unless something drastic happens, I cannot see how I can continue with having Sunday games. The result is too strong. Let's get a few more people, and also let's get a few more people saying on the website who they are, so we know who it is. Now, there is a bug on the forum at the moment that I can't approve posts. This post is waiting approval. Something's gone wrong because I tried to modify the forum and something went wrong. I'm trying to fix it. So if you send something that says this post is waiting approval, I'm reading it. I'm taking it seriously. It just means it's not showing up on the page. Like Dickie Knee's got here. I'll tell you what he said. He says, I can't say that if we change, I will be here every week, but I'll be able to play more as the current time is Monday morning for me. Okay? This is Dickie Knee's post that I can't approve. Sorry, Dickie, I'm working on it. So there's at least one person specifically saying, I can't play at the moment. I will be able to play then. Anyway, thanks for listening. Sorry this went off for a bit long, but this is big. It's big. The session, the actual server is called AGRTF every Sunday, 2200 GMT. So to change to Saturdays, it looks like a lot of people are going to be happy with it. You can't argue with the stats, guys. So if you're listening to this and you want them to stay on Sundays, you better speak up now and make your voice heard. Or if I've missed something, some blind spot why this is a big mistake, let me know. But yeah, the Americans can still go out on their Saturday nights. The Europeans can sleep in on Sundays. The Australians can, like myself, can even get a full-time job. And we don't have to... Yeah, it can be Sunday mornings. So, yeah, it's looking like at this point, 2014 will be the change. Now, when should it happen? Should it happen straight away? Or should it be staggered? I haven't even thought about that now. Look, for now, let's leave it there. Let's get a few more votes. And even if we don't, this is pretty clear. It looks like it will be changed to Saturdays. Exciting stuff. Anyway, the map schedule this week, I haven't had time to look at it. There's been a whole bunch of maps proposed, which I'm interested in checking out. But I haven't got really time to look at them and test them and stuff. So if you're a regular player and there's a map you really, really want, please let me know. Contact me personally and say to me, I want this map, so that I can filter them out. I'm not going to have time to go through because there's like 10 or 12 maps or something like that, and people seem pretty enthusiastic about them. But yeah, let's leave it at that, and I shall see you this week at Sundays 2200. Am I going to be saying Saturdays 2200? It's going to be weird, man. But wow, it's exciting, and look, there's nothing to stop people rocking up Monday and playing anyway. All it is the one time in the week where everything is the set, structured format, the strict rules of the weekly AGR session. And if I'm wrong and this is all mistake and people really, really want to, there's nothing to stop them logging in on Monday. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay, it's exciting and I'm nervous and yeah, and other stuff I've got to talk about, which I'll put in a separate separate video. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and I really want to do my New Year's special. I want to do a big, long program, but not just with me, with guests and stuff, having chats and interviews. So if you're a regular player or you got something interesting to say, let me know. I'll record it and I'll put it up on a video and it'll be immortalized forever. And also, final thing, so I've got so much to say, is I've been doing these short 5-minute videos for a long time, but the more I think about it, it's like, why? It's like an insecurity thing. I'm scared that people are going to get bored and keeping them short. But, I mean, if you're talking about something I'm interested in, you keep talking. I'm interested in it. So why not just talk for as long as I want to talk to? And if the shows go for longer, you know, especially if I label what they're about so you can decide if you're interested in the topic or not, you know. Like this one, I've stopped doing that. I used to call them just Weekly AGR Session and the date, whereas now I will call them the main topic so people can find them later, you know. Like this one will be called The Poll, okay? So, in a month's time, you can say, oh, what was the one with the ball? And you can see it's called The Poll. Oh, that's that video. So, and making them longer, perhaps. Don't know, something to think about. But yeah, all right. I'll see you at this week's game, and I'm sure I've got other stuff to talk about which I've forgotten right now. But have a great New Year, and I shall Happy New Year's if we're doing anything special that night. If you're not and you're sitting there alone, hey, you're not the only one, okay? Not everybody's cuddled around with their lovely wife and kids and their happy families and blah, 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 all surrounded by strippers. So I'm sure I have a lot of guys with strippers around them sitting there going, man, I've got the strippers here, but it's not as good as AGR, man. Could be playing a game now. Could be capping a flag right now. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys soon. 2200 GMT. See, I'm already saying it. Saturday. I'm already saying it. It's coming out of my mouth. I'm getting used to it, guys. God, this is a big mistake. Let me know now, please. Okay? Can you hear the panic? Can you hear it? Okay. See you soon. Bye-bye.